Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to episode number 18 of my Out of the Park Baseball 23 playthrough with the Oakland Athletics. And before we get into the video, so the poll I put up on Friday has come back overwhelmingly with let's try to fix it rather than scrap. And I mean, trying to give every team an influx of cash and seeing if that fixes the problem was sort of the overwhelming choice of you guys. So that's what we're going to do. So once we get to the end of this season, I will pause the video, and for you guys, it'll be instant. But for me, it's going to require me to go into commissioner mode, go and pull out each team's budget, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to give every team a 15% cash influx based on their budget, and we'll see if that fixes the problem. If everybody ends up negative again and stays negative, then we'll have a difficult decision to make about our playthrough with Oakland. Hopefully, though, the cash influx will fix it, because like I said, it's not getting worse. Like if you look at the team's finances, it's not really getting worse. Like every team has got about the same amount of cash as they had last year, give or take. Some teams are doing much better, like the Red Sox. They potentially are going to have a ton of money next season. White Sox look like they're going to have some money. So what I want to do is I want to get to the offseason, and I want to see exactly how much money everybody has. And if everybody's up, and if everybody's a net positive, I may just leave it alone. But if the majority of the teams are still negative once we get to the postseason and they can't offer, qualifying offers, if they can't offer, offer free agent contracts, then I'll go in and I will I'll give everybody a little bit of cash. So that's kind of the plan here. So, so that's kind of where we are. It is September 1st. We are 77-61. We were 15-13 in the month of August. It is time for roster expansion. We are a game and a half behind Houston, and we are 6 games clear of the Mariners for the second wild card. We're a game and a half behind the Yankees. So that's kind of where we are with our lineup. Is there anybody we want to call up? We can call up Victor Romo. We picked him up in a trade back at the beginning of the season. That was a contract dump. Bring him up. Bring Jordan Fuentes up. And I think Montalvo up. So we will bring up Fuentes to be that backup middle infielder, and it should default right to that, which is what I want. Let me shut the audio off here. It's Friday, so I don't care about work. We go to pitching. We got Romo and Montalvo. We'll make him the long relief, him in middle relief. And we're about ready to go. We'll take a quick look at our team stats here. So pitching, things continue to look, our top 2 are really, really good. Gleason and Estes are having great seasons. Brandon Neely's pitched really well in 10 starts, 4-3 with an ERA of 3.07. Alexander McCarthy hasn't been particularly good this year. He was good in March when he made 1 start, but other than that, it's been pretty bad for him. Cade Boxrocker has been really up and down this year. Had some good spurts. You can see June and July he was really good. August he was objectively terrible, but really good in April, June, and July. Really bad in May and August. So we got 3 starting pitchers really that we can trust, and one of them was in Las Vegas as late as like the beginning of June. So our bullpen is pitching really, really well. Perella, Hancock, Thomas, Esterling, and Depperman are all fantastic. Our long guys haven't been particularly good. Like we moved Mestris out of the rotation because he was struggling. How have his splits looked like as a reliever? He's pitching much better as a reliever, so maybe we lean on him in a reliever as a reliever as we get closer towards the end of the season or into the postseason, as it were. Offensively, Kevin Parker leads us in WAR, 4.1 WAR. He's up to 24 home runs and 99 RBIs. So he had Pretty good August. 272, 375, 524, 20 RBIs, though. Poisson's at 40 home runs going into September. We did sign Poisson to an extension, and it was different than the extension that he had initially offered, like that, whatever it was, the 5-year deal at 11 million with an opt-out or whatever. And then he came back and told us he was offended. So we actually signed him to a shorter-term deal for a little bit more money. So you can see we offered him a 3-year deal worth $52 million next year. 13.6, which is about $1 million less than what his ARB number was. So it saves us about $1 million next year. 2032, he's going to make 19.6, and then he's got an opt-out. An opt-out and a player option is kind of weird, but that's what he wanted. So it could be a 2-year, $32 million deal. I can't imagine he's going to regress that much over the next 2 seasons. So I'm happy with that extension. Cartwright is having an okay season, 2.3 WAR. Sarabia, bats a little below average, but decent WAR. I think he's probably playing a decent... No, he's actually not playing a particularly good outfield. We need a better center fielder than him. Acuna, again, primarily defense. Same with McLean. Maybe is having a decent year. Arias hitting for some power. He's getting on base at almost a 350 clip with only a 209 batting average. So having him in the leadoff spot is... I guess you could say it's working. It's weird, but it's working. Munoz, I think he had his best month in August. Yeah, 367, 406, 711 with 23 runs knocked in. Hopefully he's finally breaking through because that's a bat we definitely could use in our lineup. And then you got the rest of the team down to Chris Bryant, who's been worth -1 WAR this season. So it is time to get through the month of September and hopefully into some postseason. So we got 1 game left against Tampa here, finishing off this series, followed by a 1-day doubleheader at Miami. Well, that's a fun schedule. We play at home against Tampa, so we're in Oakland playing Tampa. Then we fly to Miami for a 1-day doubleheader, and then fly back home to play Seattle, and then back across the country to play Baltimore, then back across the country to play the Angels at home. So there you go. Munoz with a grand slam. Poisson with his 41st. Estes pitches well, but Hancock gets the win. A win is a win is a win. Now the doubleheader against Miami. Brandon Neely is out for 6 weeks. We win both ends of the doubleheader, but losing Neely for 6 weeks is going to hurt. Neely pitches an inning and a third. Yeah, we're just going to have to stick Mastros back in the rotation, which I don't want to do, but that's what we'll do. Sarabia and Bryant, both homer in that one. And this one, the 4-1 win. Boxrucker pitches well. 6 shutout innings for Cade. Home run, another home run for Bryant. So Chris homers in back-to-back games on the... actually, you know what? I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to call... No, we're going to put Mastros back in there. Frankel wasn't good, and we need better starters. Who's going to start tomorrow? Do we have any starters that aren't exhausted? I guess we can call up more pitchers. We've got the space. So, who do we call up? Actually, is Frankel. Frankel's exhausted. He pitched 107 games 2 days ago. Let's start Easterling. Let's give him the start against Seattle. See if he can give us 5 or so, maybe 4. Yeah, we lose 4-1. Oh, he went 7 1/3. That works. Works for me. So we can now put McCarthy back in there. So we lose the first game against Seattle. Now we're taking on Jack Flaherty. Ooh, back-to-back losses to the team right behind us in the standings. We're a half a game out of first. We are 4.5 up on Seattle. 5 up. Yeah, we're going to be battling the 2 teams in our division. We only have 3 more games. No, we have 6 more games against LA. Now we got 3 games against one of the best teams in the American League, the Orioles. We win that one 7-5. Poisson up to 42 and 109. Richardson back from injury in August, up to 20 home runs now. He homers twice. Gleason only goes 4 2/3, but the bullpen comes in and does a really nice job. Second game in Baltimore. We win 13-5, and we're in first place now. So Sarabia, 3 for 6 with 2 runs knocked in. Cartwright, 3 for 5. Poisson, 2 for 6, 4 RBIs. I mean, this is an absolutely incredible season for Robert Poisson. He's on pace for 48 home runs and 126 runs knocked in. Munoz has an outside shot at 100 RBIs. We get Sarabia, Poisson, and Mabius all homer. Acuna with 3 hits. Estes picks up his 14th. We look for the sweep in Baltimore, and we are in first place right now, guys. We lose that one, so we fall half a game out of first place again, and now we've got the Angels for 3, and we lose. This game hates me. This game hates me. All right. We don't really have any. I guess we can just call up Cal Rennie. What does that do to our lineup? I mean, Munoz becomes the first baseman. I guess we just do that. And then our DH will be Origel, I suppose. And then against lefties, make him the first baseman. Move him there. And what's Richardson? He can't really hit lefties. Can McLean? Sort of, but not really. And I guess we just stick Richardson out there because he's good defensively. Make him the right fielder. Make him the DH. And just sort of swap things around a little bit. Well, that sucks. Okay. So we're in first place, 4.5 games up on Tampa in Seattle, and 5.5 up on the Angels. We could knock the Angels out of contention right here if we can take all 3. But being without Parker for the rest of the season is going to obviously cripple the offense. Lose 8-3. And we win 8-3. Poisson up to 44 and 116. Yeah, I mean, this is what we're going to need to do. We're going to need to get offense from all over the lineup here going forward because not having Parker out there really shortens the lineup a bit. Gleason gets his 14th win. Can we take 2 out of 3 at home against LA? We do. That's huge. Richardson a couple of hits. McLean with a pinch hit. 2-run double in the 7th with the bases loaded. Estes picks up his 15th. And we win again. So we're still in first place, 84 and 65. We're 2 games up on Houston now in first place. 3.5 up on Seattle is playing really well. 6.5 up on the Angels. Yeah, I mean, unless we melt down, I mean, I don't want to say anything because we could very well melt down. So we'll just keep our mouths shut. We lose to Detroit 7-0. Lose to Detroit 4-1. And we win there 6-2. Origel 3 hits, Mabius 2 hits, Fuentes 2 hits. McCarthy pitches really well for the win. So a game up on Houston, 2.5 up on Seattle. We are what? It's hard to tell. 1 game, we're like 4 games up on the wild card, 4.5 up on the wild card. We go to Houston for 3. Yeah, I mean, we have 10 games left. 3 at Houston, 3 at LA, 4 against Toronto. How is Toronto? 72 and 81. Okay. So if we can get through this series 3-3, we're in pretty good shape. If we can get through these 6 games 3-3, I think we'll be in good shape. Keep our fingers crossed. 6-3 loss. Game is thinking about it. Long pause. 5-4 loss. We're now a game out of first place. And we get swept. Son of a bitch. Okay. 1.5 up on Seattle. Still 3.5 up on the Angels. So we still... What's our magic number? Let's look at the pennant chase. So our magic number is 4 for the wild card. Houston's magic number is 6 for the division. Okay, so 4. So we need 4 wins here in our last 7 games. And we can... Yeah. This is killing us. We've lost 6 out of 7. 7 out of 8. Oh, man. Okay, so we're 86 and 72. I think that makes us a game and a half up on LA. Still haven't clinched anything. That was 2 of the 4, right? An LA loss and a win for us. So we are 2 games behind Houston, half a game up on Seattle, 2 games up on both LA and Tampa. So now that magic number should be 2. Yeah, magic number's 2. So we need to win 2 of 4, or we need Los Angeles and or Tampa to lose a game. So let's see what happens. Game 1 here against Toronto at home. 8-5 loss. You gotta be kidding me, man. We've fallen behind Seattle. We're a game and a half behind Seattle. Still 2.5 up on Oakland, 2.5 up on Tampa. Let's see what happens in the doubleheader today. We win 1 out of 2. So we're 87 and 74, and we clinched. Okay. So we make the postseason. It was ugly. It was ugly. This was the game that did it, the 4-3 victory. Bryant with his 8th home run of the year. Garcia has to get the start because of the doubleheader. Ugh. All right, so who's scheduled to pitch this game? I don't want it to be Gleason or Estes. I'm going to burn this mother to the ground. So last year, in the final series of the year, we lose Brandon Woodruff for 17 months. This year, we lose Kevin Parker with 2 weeks left in the season, and then we lose Joey Estes on the second to last day of the year. This game hates me. This game hates me. All right, so McCarthy has got to be one of our... Oh, man, he's so bad. So I guess it's Gleason, Boxrucker, Mestris. God, that's terrible. Just sim it. Doesn't matter. Man, that is uber frustrating. Uber frustrating, and we win 3-2, so we finish 88 and 74, which is great, and we make the playoffs again. That's what, the 4th straight season we've made the playoffs? Yeah, 4th straight season we've made the playoffs. Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. Yeah, Woodruff is down to 50-50-50. So we are going to have more dead money next season. We'll pitch him as a reliever or whatever, and then obviously he'll never meet the vesting option. So we have 1 more year to deal with the Estes thing, or to deal with the Woodruff thing. We lose Estes until the beginning of next season. He has a team option for $15 million, which we will likely pick up just because we need the pitching. And we have to hope that our offense can carry us through the postseason against the Yankees. So let's set that. I'm not going to stress. I'm not going to worry about it. I don't expect us to win now, given we just lost one of our best bats and one of our best pitchers. Why is Cassius Thomas not out there? Get Rennie out. Get Thomas in there. In fact, we're going to go with a 3-man rotation. So we'll do Boxrucker, I guess. Boxrucker, Gleason, Mestris, and we're just going to lean super heavy on the bullpen. I feel like that's what we have to do at this point. Excuse me. As always, I say that I'm going to edit that out, but we all know that I won't. So use more often. Hancock is a stopper. Easterling is a stopper. Have him come in 7th or close in middle relief. And just see how that works. So we're taking on the New York Yankees here in the postseason. We're down our number 2 starter, and we're down probably the second best bat that we have in our lineup in Kevin Parker. Look at the Yankees real quick. They went 93 and 69. 4th in runs scored, 8th in runs against. Anger Castellano only hit 60. Look at all those home runs. 244 home runs for that team. 64 home runs for Anger Castellano. Their pitching isn't particularly good. They're dealing with some injuries as well. But yeah, that lineup is redonkulous. So, all right, let's get to it. Cade Boxrucker against the former Oakland Athletic Cole Franklin in Game 1. Goes to the Yankees 5-4. So we scored 3 in the first, and then they picked up 4 in the 4th, and that was that, as they say. At least we got Gleason going in Game 2. We'll see if that makes any difference at all. It does not. We get swept again. And we were up 7-5. 5-run bottom of the 8th. 5 runs against Emerson Hancock. And our season is over yet again. So I'm going to go ahead now and sim ahead to the end of the to the end of the playoffs. At that point, we'll take a look at the finances and we'll kind of see what we're dealing with. So, guys, I will be back when the postseason ends. All right. It is the offseason. We are into offseason number, whatever this is, 9, I think. So let's quickly, actually, first let's look at, I haven't looked at anything. Literally, I haven't looked at anything. So the Cubs beat the Mariners. The Cubs beat the Mariners in the World Series. So an AL West team does make the World Series. It's just not the A's, it's the Mariners. But the Chicago Cubs are your 2030 MLB champions. So before we do anything, before we even look at arbitration or anything like that, I want to come in and I want to look at the trade block. Or not the trade block. I want to initiate trades and I want to look at and see if teams have money. So yeah, see, this is, not every team needs to have money. That's not what this is about. But if the majority of teams have cash, and it looks like the majority of the teams have cash. So, guys, we may just do nothing. So after all that, I'm going to see what happens once we get to free agency, and then see if it happens again, because that's usually where it happens. Like right now, I would say about 80% of the team has money. 80% of the teams have money. So I think we're just going to let it ride here, and we'll do the offseason up to free agency, and then I will go back in and check again, because that's where most of the issues have been coming. We would get to free agency, and all of a sudden nobody would have any money. So let's start digging into the postseason, I guess. So we have to choose our option, or pick up the option on Joey Estes. He'll be out. So if he's out for 7 months, it's November. He'll be out until May. Does anybody want him? I can't believe we're thinking about trading him, but it's nice to see names pop up, though, given what we've been dealing with over the last couple of years. So I'm hoping maybe it fixed itself. We'll see. We will see, I guess. No, I don't want to. None of those guys. I think we pick up the option on him. I think we just do it. We just don't think about it, and we just do it. We should be able to trade him next season if we need to. The season didn't go south. Payroll of 120 million, so we're gonna have nothing. Yeah, we have nothing. So let's get into ARB, and let's see, what does Hancock want? 1920. I feel like offering him a qualifying offer is the right deal, given what he's asking for here. 19, 20, 21, 21. If he picks up the contract, or if he If he accepts the qualifying offer, we'll have to just move him for whatever. But we'll take a chance here and see if we can get him to decline the qualifying offer. Sarabia only wants 1.3. That's easy. 1.250. So yeah, we'll go through and we'll offer everybody arbitration. We'll do all of the pre-free agency stuff, and then see what happens at free agency. Because what we were thinking was happening was the teams were just throwing all their money out at players right on the first day of free agency, leaving them with no money. So if that happens again, I will go in and at that point and I will offer everybody a bunch of money and see if, or not offer everybody a bunch of money, but give everybody an influx of cash so that we have it for free agency, and then we'll see what happens. We'll go through the following season and see what happens. And 5-1. And then if we get to the end of next season and it happens again, then we know we have a problem that's probably not fixable. If we have a problem that's not fixable, we will either start over or pick a new team. I know I've had some people tell me to fire up a save with my favorite team, the Red Sox. I don't necessarily know if I want to do that, but it's something I will consider. Cassius Thomas at 1.8. Easterling was quite good, so I have no problem bringing him back. Mestris was fine. He wasn't as good as he was the year before, but I still have no problem bringing him back. Yeah, I'm not bringing McCarthy back at 7.8. He can kick rocks. All right, so that leaves us with Gage Webster, who wasn't all that good. He was a negative WAR pitcher. I mean, he does have 5 good pitches, but he's an extreme fly ball pitcher with bad movement, bad control. He wants nearly $4 million. So let's try this. I know we're not crazy about re-signing Cartwright. So what can we get for him? I would rather have, let's just look at all players. That's an awful lot of relievers. It's still just relievers. Well, that's disappointing. What if we added McCarthy? Carlos Duran. Looks okay. Yeah. Winston Santos. Tink Hentz. He was really bad. What about just McCarthy? Because I am going to trade them both. It's just a matter of figuring out what the best possible deal is here, because I'm not paying that kind of money for those players. Jan Soriano. I mean, I would be okay with this. McCarthy put up 1.5 WAR, 81 ERA, 319 BABIP, 162 innings, high work ethic. Winston Santos put up 2.3 WAR, slightly above average. He's not an extreme fly ball pitcher. He's a regular fly ball pitcher. Doesn't have quite as much stamina, but looks like he's a little more consistent. Is that his that's got to be his contract for next season, right? Can we get anything else? Right. That's why there's no plus next to his name. Pay attention. So I'm hopeful that, I mean, it looks like it's fixed itself. I mean, that's the hope. We'll see what happens when we get to free agency. But yeah, it appears as though it's fixed itself. I don't want to push this because ultimately I just want to move the contract. Yeah, that's fine. Just go ahead and make that deal. So that's going to save us about $4 million, give or take. Gage Webster, I'm fine non-tendering. I don't think anybody's going to want him. I got to sim ahead of that. Now we should be able to offer him up. I can't imagine anybody's going to want him. He's not that good. Yeah. But, I mean, I guess if we can bring back a... Yeah, I mean, we can bring back a minimum contract player like a Logan Dan Ziezen. You know, whatever. I mean, I'm fine with that. He's definition of average, but gives us some depth, I guess. Frees up the money. Maybe we can get them to throw in another piece. I don't know why I'm looking at some of these bigger names. They're certainly not going to give up. Yeah. But, you know, maybe there's something else in here. Maybe there's, you know, a piece that, you know, maybe you've got a flawed player who's really good with the glove, or, you know, he can't hit but he can field, or he can't field but he can hit, or, you know, something like that. I kind of want to give them Cartwright as well. They don't have any extra cash, though. I want, you know, I'm willing to give them up for next to nothing. I just want some cash. I like Nolan. I mean, some of these relievers I kind of like. I mean, their contracts are all up at the end of the year. Sean Reed Foley, the former Oakland Athletic. Yeah, it's all pretty garbage, but that's fine. We're going to go ahead and trade him. They like the fact that we bring in Danielson. Great. What's our fan interest? It's like in the 70s. Yeah, it's a 75 right now, which isn't terrible. Payroll sits at $116 million. I think we may end up moving Santos. This Woodruff deal is killing us. But now maybe the teams have money. Like, what if we retain and then back off? Interesting. Okay. All right, so the last contract we need to move here is Cartwright. And I'd like actual talent for him, given that he is a, 2.5, 3-win player, but, I'll settle for getting the contract off the books. That's all like 30-year-old relievers. Like, that doesn't help me. All right, we'll sim ahead another day. Because in about a month, that 4.6 goes to 7, and that doesn't help me. It makes it worse, in fact. Let's get rid of veterans. Ugh. And I got to be able to retain and then back off, right? Nothing. Do we just non-tender him? I mean, maybe we make a deal with the Dodgers to bring in a 26-year-old pitcher with 4 decent pitches. Sure. What else can we get? We got to be able to get something else from them. Get Samuel Munoz, 26-year-old, decent bat. What else can we get? Anything? Oof, he's good. You won't give him to me, right? No. Had to ask. Armendariz, 23-year-old. Ledesma. I mean, they won't. I mean, I'll ask, but yeah. Melendez was a former 7th overall pick. Can we get him? Oops. What if we then turn around and flip? If we had Santos. Isaiah Pearson. There's a 3rd pick. Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with that, I guess. He's 20 years old and just not developing. This isn't a great deal for us, but oh wow, I like him. I like the defense. Give me Ivan Alvarez. Okay. I like that. I mean, that's, he could be in the majors tomorrow as a backup infielder, but that's elite defense. I like that. And do you have anybody else that you want to give up that could give us some depth? Ricky Aguilar is some depth. He's not great, but he's a decent enough bat, I think. And then you got to have like a reliever on your roster or something that you don't particularly care about, right? Excuse me. $9 million. Isaiah Lowe. Give me Isaiah Lowe too. Cool. All right. Oh, wait. I got to back this off. Although this shouldn't matter because, yeah, that shouldn't matter. So we're going to trade Nick Cartwright's contract along with Winston Santos, who we just picked up, for a kind of a middling of prospects. Kerry Herndon Brown is going to give us some depth in the bullpen. Same thing with Isaiah Lowe. They're both popular, though, so hopefully that'll give us some fan interest bump. We've got Munoz, who's a potential, I mean, he looks very similar to Sanabria, the guy we traded last season, at least with the bat. Ivan Alvarez is an elite defensive infielder, and then Ricky Aguilar gives us another bat. So I am good with that. Make that deal. And those are all the trades I think we're going to make leading into the offseason. So we're sitting at $110 million right now. I got to see if I can figure out a way to get somebody to take Woodruff off our hands, because that's the one that's really going to hamstring us. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sim ahead to the beginning of free agency. Once we get to free agency, we'll then take a look and see what those teams look like again and see if there's money there. And if there is, we'll just keep moving forward. If there's no money there, then I will add and we will see how it goes. So I'll be back at free agency. Hey guys, we are back. So I just went through all this and apparently I didn't hit record, so I'm going to do it again. So a couple big things happened. We were able to offload Brandon Woodruff's contract. We traded him and a whole bunch of other stuff to the San Diego Padres. We had to in order to get him off the books. We traded the pieces I'm most concerned about. The ones that really hurt. The one that really hurts is Tyrone Richardson. We traded Woodruff, Richardson, Sagamore Mestris, Cal Rennie, and Omar Lopez to the Padres for Josu Rocha. Rocha's another just elite defensive infielder. So we got a handful of those now. So we give up Woodruff. His ratings have dropped. We retained 10% of his contract, so that freed up $20 million for us. Well, more than that, because Mestris was making 2.9 or something like that. So it freed up about $23 million for us going into free agency. Mestris and Woodruff were both popular, so our fan interest went from an 81 to a 73, which isn't terrible, but it gave us $27 million to screw around with. Teams don't have money, so once we got to free agency, teams didn't have any money. So if you come here and we go to trade block and we go to initiate trade, you can see teams don't have any money. Braves have a little bit. Red Sox have $15,000. The Cubs have money because I was testing this in the previous version where I thought I was recording and I wasn't, and I added 10% to their budget, and they now have money. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna add 15% to every team's budget. So whatever their baseline budget is. So if we look at Oakland, we go to accounting and then edit the finances. We have $164 million. So what's 15% of 164 million? So 10% is 16. Half of that is so 16.4, 8.2. So $24.6 million. So I'm going to take 164 and I'm going to add 24. So that's 186.6. So that's going to be our new budget. So now if we go to front office, you can see we're up to $49 million for free agencies, 21, and I think I might have to do it for next year too, now that I think about it. Does it have a budget for next season on here someplace? No, it doesn't. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through and I'm going to add 15% to every team's budget. That'll give every team money, every team some additional funds for this season. We'll see if that fixes things moving forward. If it doesn't fix things moving forward, we're going to have a decision to make about this world because if nobody has any money, it gets hard to do anything. And that's not entertaining for you guys. So I am going to go through now and I am going to reset the budgets for every single team. So when you come back, every team should have some money and we should have an interesting and fun free agency. I'll see you in a minute. All right, so we're back. It didn't take me nearly as long as I thought it would. Really, it took me like half an hour to do some quick math. So we're back, and I have added a 15% influx of cash to every team's budget. And ultimately, it gave... I just showed you. It gave us. We now have $49 million to spend this season, 21 to spend for extensions. I'm contemplating dumping some of that into scouting and development, depending on what we do in free agency. But if you look now at the trade block and you go to initiate trade, you can see that the vast majority of teams have money now. So I don't know if they will continue to have money. Like, I don't know what this is going to do to next year. But at least this buys us another year to see if the game can sort of level set itself. There are a couple teams that don't have money. Colorado was one. Detroit was another. And I think Miami didn't have any money. Yeah, so there's still a handful of teams that have no money. So maybe we can use that to our advantage. But yeah, so we're at free agency now. And we're going to proceed as if everything is normal. And we'll see how that works out. So I want to go back and I want to look at the awards. Brian Acuna won the Gold Glove at shortstop. I think we're going to have Gold Gloves at both second and short this upcoming season as we shift more towards a defense style team rather than slugging. Although we do have some bats now that we haven't had in the past. You can see the NL Gold Gloves. AL reliever of the year is Angel Roman. Hancock is fourth. He's now a free agent. He declined the qualifying offer, so we will get a comp pick if somebody signs him, which is great. Ben Leeper is your reliever of the year in the NL. Silver Sluggers. We didn't have one. I thought maybe we'd get one at third, but no, that went to Alberto Hernandez of Houston. In the National League, you can see the list there. AL Rookie of the Year goes to Xavier Alvarez of the Rays. Tyrone Richardson finished fourth. He's now over in San Diego, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Manager of the Year in the AL, Jose Mayorga of the Astros. In the NL, David Ross of the Cubs. AL Pitcher of the Year, Connor Eisenman of the Mariners. There's Gleason coming in sixth. He had a really good year. Jake Odorizzi is your 40-year-old Jake Odorizzi wins the Cy Young for the world champion Cubs. Good for them. Edgar Castellano of the Yankees wins the MVP. No surprise there. There's Poisson in, eighth with his 48 and 122. And then Tatis over in the National League. Again, Emerson Hancock filed for free agency. We won the ARB hearings on both Isaiah Lowe and Kerry Herndon Brown, which are two of the players that we picked up. No real talent in the international pool this year. Nothing that really stands out. So we'll probably pass there. And then free agency looks okay, but it looks primarily offensive. I didn't see a ton in there from a pitching perspective, which is really what we need. If we look at our lineup, let's just do this really quickly. So we've got Mabius as our starting catcher. Parker is our first baseman. I think we go Fuentes as our second baseman. We go Acuna as our shortstop. Poisson as our third baseman. Munoz as our DH. Sarabia as our starting center fielder for now. Arias as our starting left fielder. I would almost rather move Sarabia to right and see if we can pick up a center fielder. So our lineup is pretty well set. And then we have Nick McLean to back up at all three outfield positions. I put Shafransky on the 40-man, and it was just stupid of my part. He's likely to start in AAA. I don't even know why I put him there. Origel can back up at first, potentially second. Rocha can back up anywhere on the infield. So our infield is set. Really, we need outfield help. And then pitching, we will have Joey Estes back, so we'll just put him there. He won't be there at the beginning of the season, but right now our rotation looks like this. Gleason, Estes, Neely, and Boxrucker, which isn't all that good. So we need to add a pitcher. I don't think we have anybody who's ready. We go to AAA, and we only have 9 players on our AAA roster. Yeah, we don't have anybody who's ready, so we definitely are going to need I gotta clear some players off my international complex. Let's get some of these 20-year-olds up so that our scout can start to find some new players for us. These guys are all going to go away. Calasands is not. I don't think he's quite ready yet. Neither is LeBron. Get rid of some of these 19-year-old half-star potential guys. Clear up some space. All right. So pitching and outfield is really what we need help with. And I think both starting and relief pitching is sort of the key. I mean, we have Perella, Easterling, I think is a pretty good start. But we certainly need more. I think we have a lot of okay talent in our minor leagues. I mean, I guess we could start. Right now, Frankel's our 5th starter. Right now, that's our rotation. It's not good enough. I think our bullpen is okay. It's not great, but we definitely need pitching, and we need a center fielder. I think first thing I want to do, though, is I want to see if we can take advantage of the fact that Miami has no money, because they had a pitcher whose contract expires, I want to see, this upcoming season. Oh, wow, they signed him long-term. Okay, never mind. Yeah, they signed him long-term. I don't know how they're going to be able to afford this. $13 million closer. $12 million for Tyler Soderstrom. Yeah, no wonder you guys are... I'm not going to do that. Let's go to free agency, and let's see what we have for center fielders and pitchers. Yeah, there's not much there. Alexander Vizcaino is the best starting option. He's 33 years old. He got signed midway through the year last year by the Red Sox and was pretty good in that time, but not for $18 million, although he is the best starting pitcher out there, so maybe that is what ends up needing to happen. There's Emerson Hancock listing himself as a starter. Nick Hansen listing himself as a starter. Chance Mako only wants 1.2. That feels... Oh, yeah, okay. OSA hates him. Connor Phillips isn't bad, but again, he's hurt for 9 to 10 months. It's like all the good starting pitchers are hurt. Daniel Avita doesn't look bad if he can stay healthy. What's his injury history look like? Last year... strained shoulder tendonitis. The year before that, he only missed a couple weeks. He was fine in 2029. 2028, he missed 4 months. 2027, he missed a couple of weeks. So he's missed a couple of weeks each of the last couple seasons. I don't mind signing a 27-year-old. That's a reasonable... And he wants a minor league deal, so I bet we could get him Like if we offered him a major league contract, like if we offered him I don't know, a 2-year deal for $3 million a year. Oh, he only wants 1 year. Okay. Guess to reestablish that value. So 2.75 million, sure. Start Gratterall wants 1.5. He's wrecked. Oof, jeez, look at all those injuries. I don't want to dump a ton into borderline pitchers. But like Benoni Robles, good stuff. 5 good pitches. Hasn't been particularly good, but maybe pitching in a bigger park, and he doesn't want like anything. I mean, I'll give him a major league contract for $1 million. Great. Okay. Let's look at outfielders. Let's specifically look at center fielders. All right, so we got Julio Rodriguez, who's not a center fielder. Yeah, he's not a center fielder with the range. Brandon Nemo's not a center fielder with the range, and he's wrecked. Could bring back old friend Kristen Pache, who had a decent season last year for the White Sox, 255, 290. I mean, if he put up an 80 OPS for us, that would be great. But his last season in Oakland was, well, I guess his last season in Oakland was an 80 OPS, but it was 66 before that. I mean, we know he can play center field. You know, and if we want to lean into the offensive side, how much did he want? He wanted $9 million and he's fragile. No, I take that back. That's too much money. Not a lot of options here for center fielders right now. What about just all outfielders? Because, I mean, I guess if we have to just move Sarabia back to center field, we can, but I was hoping to not do that. Yeah, and we don't really need another bat. Most of these bats are fragile to begin with. So if we just let's just look at batters. Adley Rutschman, what's $38 million? He'll probably get that after putting up 7 WAR as a catcher. It's 23. Not really a lot here, honestly. Because I think we're pretty well set from a lineup perspective. Laureano's close. I wouldn't mind bringing him back. But again, he's not... If the number comes down on Pache, I would consider bringing him back. I'm not bringing him back at $9 million. But if we can get him back on a year at like, in a couple years at, $4 or $5 million, that would be fine. All right, so what about relievers? Are there any cheap relievers out there? Angel Roman is not a cheap reliever. Neither is Segovia. Let's do it like this. Jorge Garcia is only 3.8. You bring him back. He was pretty terrible last year, though. We already have the contract offer out to Avidia. Chance Mako, again, I think OSA hated him. Yeah, let's get a scouting report. Because if our scout likes him, I mean, that's reasonable for $1 million. Nick Sandlin only wants 4. That seems like a reasonable contract for a sinker, slider, ground ball type pitcher. He wants 2 years. Can we give him 2 years? Like 3.35 and like 3.6, like that. Sure. Okay. Vizcaino. Yeah, Vizcaino's good, but I mean, and there's no compensation. So if that number comes down, like what would I be okay with? He wants 3 years. If we make that a vesting option at like 160 innings, would he do like 15? Like that? He would. Okay. I feel like that's a reasonable contract. Is he? What is his? Is he fragile? No, it's his injury history. Nothing really. He's 33. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Three good. He's only got a 40 stamina though. I think we hold off and see if we can get that even cheaper. So I'm going to sim ahead now. We've got a couple offers out. Try to add to our pitching staff. We're going to sim ahead. Let's get up to the Hall of Fame voting. All right. So he's willing to talk to us already, which means he's probably willing to bring this down even more. Okay. Yep. We're going to hold off. If we can get him for 12, 11, and 10, sure. I'll do that. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this influx of cash fixes the issues. I'd rather not. Um, I'd rather not. Um, End this playthrough if I can help it. I mean, that's we'll see what happens. So, all right, that's free Hall of Fame voting. Let's see who is out there. Oh, we got some popular names showing up. Jose Abreu, no. Didn't play long enough. We'll vote for Robinson Cano. We'll vote for Bartolo Colon. Looks like we'll vote for Freeman. He was pretty good. King Felix in his 7th season now. Kimbrel really at 67% of the vote. Okay. I'll throw a vote his way. Why not? Kutch. I love me some Kutch. We'll vote for Yachty. I'm not going to vote for Pedroia. As much as I want to, I'm not going to vote for Pedroia. Vote for Scherzer. Vote for Votto. And submit our ballot. So let's now get up to the winter meetings and see if now that we have if there's like money floating around, if teams are more willing to deal with us or just deal in general, I guess, not specifically with us. Yeah, like I said, I really hope that works because I want to keep going. Teams have money, which means they should be able to throw it around a little bit to sign some free agents. Yep, you can see Adley Rutschman signs with one of the New York teams. I'm not sure which one it was, but we'll take a look. But whatever it is, it's a $165 million contract. We receive a trade proposal. So it's the Mets go to Adley Rutschman, or Adley Rutschman goes to the Mets. They want to send us Parker Welsh for Keston Hiura and some minor league prospects. I'm not interested there. Julio Rodriguez signs with the Mets as well. The Mets ended up with the largest budget after I edited everything. Well, that also meant they had the largest budget to begin with. But, yeah, they had the largest budget, so they're throwing some money around. Good for them, I guess. These offers are all still pending, huh? And Aviti is the key to us. Yeah, he's our key. He's our key. He wasn't good last year, but good ratings. I think he can be a good pitcher in Oakland. Are we there yet? No, we're not even at winter meetings. Let's get to the winter meetings. See if we can negotiate some deals, bring in some talent into Oakland. Joe Adell, 124 runs knocked in for the Astros. Good for them. All right, so we signed Nick Sandlin. We signed Avidia. That is awesome. Okay, so we don't get fan interest bumps for either of them, I don't think. Fans don't really seem to care. Yeah, we're at 72%. Get them both on the big league roster. And what does he want for an extension? That is reasonable. So let's go 3 years. Let's make this one a vesting option at 160 innings. not 160 innings. Can we bump this down to 3? And this one down to 3.5? And this down to 3.8? No, he doesn't want... Okay, that's fine. 3 years, $10 million. Hopefully he can stay healthy. That now gives us that additional starter. And then we'll see what happens with that other starter. See if he comes back to us and says, let's talk again. All right, so it is time for the winter meetings. Let us see who is on the trade block. All right, from a pitcher perspective, not a whole lot. Yoendrys Gomez. I don't want to pay him $9 million. Casey Mize is out for 4 to 5 months. Yeah, there's not much there from a pitching perspective, is there? Yeah, I mean, Rodaba's on there, but I'm not ready to give him $13 million. I mean, they are willing to trade him for almost anything. So maybe we can get them to retain. Well, really, it's not almost anything. These are all halfway decent players. Juan Dixon. No, I don't want to trade him. But we do need a bullpen ace. That is for sure. So if we start with Anaya. Okay, so they like that. How much of this can we get them to retain? Sarabia, Rocha, Pino. Yeah, these are all like my best prospects, and I'm not interested in giving you any of them. Frankel? No. Yeah, I'm not that hard up for a bullpen arm. I can just sign one. I could probably sign Segovia or even Roman for less than, I guess he's a comp pick. I mean, I could definitely sign Segovia for less than the $13 million. So we'll see what happens as we get a little further into the postseason, or a little further into free agency here. But we can go back and we can look at the block again. Colby White, only $4.3 million. He's not particularly good, though. Not a lot there. What about hitters? We could use a center fielder. Ced Mullins. He's not, quote-unquote, Ced Mullins anymore, unfortunately. Danny Gomez. He got him from us. Brandon Marsh, Mickey Moniak. Yeah, that's a whole lot of crap. That is a whole lot of crap. I mean, it's not all crap. I mean, you got Wander Franco on here. You got Corey Seager, Bryce Harper, Royce Lewis. So it's not all crap. But Marcelo Meyer, $15 million. Yeah, I don't know that we can afford to make a move like that. Tavares. I mean, I would love to bring in a Wander Franco. How badly does Tampa looking to get rid of him? Okay, they're not really anxious to get rid of him. Yeah. I mean, I hope his Hancock signs with somebody soon. That would be awesome. So Tim Anderson is available. We don't really need a Tim Anderson, though. Again, ideally we need a center fielder. The rest of our lineup is, I'm pretty happy with our lineup. I mean, Fuentes isn't going to hit a lot. Acuna's not going to hit a lot, but they're both similar players. They're both decent OBP guys. So, if they put up a 700 OPS, I'm fine with that as long as they play really, really good infield defense. I mean, maybe we can pick up another bat. I mean, if we move Sarabia to center field, that weakens the outfield defense, which isn't all that strong to begin with Arias out there. But, maybe we can get an outfielder that's just a really good bat. I know in an offline game that I do, or an online game that I do, I traded for Tim Anderson and I made him a center fielder. But he's wrecked, and I don't like that. I don't like the wreckedness of Tim Anderson. Yordan Alvarez, he's also wrecked. Francisco Alvarez, get him from the Mets and improve our catching situation. I mean, he's no compensation. He put up 3.5 WAR. What does he want? That's a 5-year contract. It's our catching situation. It's Mabius and Newstrom. Newstrom's eminently replaceable, and Mabius is just okay. I don't really. Do we have any catching prospects on the horizon? I don't believe so. Yeah, not really. Our coffers are fairly empty from a prospect perspective. Unfortunately, I'm looking at the wrong team. Yeah, I mean, things are looking okay in rookie ball, but I mean, everybody's a ways away. Yeah, it was Shimizu, and he's still a ways away. He's 21. I mean, maybe an Alvarez wouldn't be terrible to kind of solidify the pitching staff. I'm not willing to go. I mean, I'd go 3 years at like 12.5. That's 125 million. 13.5 and 12.5. He doesn't want to be tied up that long. All right. Well, what if we did 2 years at $13 million? He only wants one. He wants a 1-year contract. Sure. Offer him a 1-year, $13 million contract. Let's see if that is of any interest. I mean, I didn't really think about that, but maybe improving our catcher ability will improve. All right, so we signed Benoni Robles. That's nice. Maybe that will. Juancil Perez. No, I'm fine there. Maybe that improves the pitching staff with a better catcher behind the plate. Maybe that helps Gleason unlock his potential. Trade offer from the Pirates. They want to send us Brian Reynolds, who I'm not against. In exchange for Pino, Aldridge, Origin. No, it's like all they think we should do it. I don't want to give you Pino, and I don't want to give you Aldridge. We can trade Arias. He's fragile. What's his injury history look like? Only missed a couple days last year. 2029 missed a few weeks. 2028 was a difficult year for him. Missed a lot of time. I guess he really did. I mean, he's played 145 games each of the last 6 seasons. I mean, that's not awful. Like, I don't hate bringing in Brian Reynolds. That's a lot of money. Yeah, I can't. Not for $28 million. Especially if we want to sign Alvarez. And I'm still hoping. All right, so we signed Avidia to that extension, which is nice. If he stays healthy, I think that works out. I mean, you look back here at 2025, 2026, 2027, he was really, really good. So looking to rebound here after a difficult last couple years due to some injuries. But these 3 seasons, man, that's fantastic. I mean, if we can get that out of him, sign me up. All right, let's, I guess, sim up to the Rule 5. And then we'll do Rule 5ing. I hope everybody had a great Father's Day, or at least the fathers out there had a great Father's Day. I hope your Sunday was silent. Mine was fantastic. Spent the day outside with the kids and the family. Did some grilling. Did some yard work. I love doing yard work. I love being outside in the sun, so I love doing yard work. Maybe I'm nuts, but did some yard work in the morning. Did some grilling in the afternoon. Had burgers and dogs and stuff, and just hung out with the family, which for me is perfect. All right, so fan interest drops noticeably with Hancock signing with another team, but we get a supplemental first-round pick. So fan interest is down to a 70. We need to fix that. So hopefully we get we are able to sign Alvarez, and then we can take a look at maybe adding a pitcher or two that is popular. I'm hoping that, because nobody has any interest in Vizcaino, so I'm hoping he comes back to us here shortly and says, I'm willing to renegotiate with you guys, and then we can get him at our dollar amount. Because if we can get him at 13, 12, and 11, that's an absolute steal, I think. Again, only has 40 stamina, but it looks like he's been fairly durable. All right, so we lose Depperman to the Mets. Endy Rodriguez. Let's look at free agents. Where are we with... He favors our offer. We're down to $2.7 million in extensions, and that's because Sean Gunther. Oof. Did he pitch for us? Yeah, he did for 1 year. And he was good, but I'm not paying him $9 million. Yeah, hopefully the bump to Alvarez will get people interested in buying some tickets because we can't afford to lose money here. Come on. Still nothing, huh? All right, so we're at the Rule 5. So let's look and see who is eligible for the Rule 5. Alex Mendoza, Keston Hura. I don't care if any of those players get taken. Ryan Bell. We should probably put him on the 40-man. Let's see what we can add in the 40-man. We're picking 21st. All right, so we got Patrick Wood, who's a reliever who has some potential stuff, but doesn't look great. Wow. All right, let's look at pitchers first, because there usually aren't any. So at least aren't any that are worth taking, I should say. Tanner Houck is now 34 years old. Yeah, nothing there. Let's look at hitters. Do Hyung Park is 17 years old and Rule 5 eligible. Oh, he was a minor league free agent. Oh, man. He looks friggin' good. What do we got? We got Nelson Rodriguez, a 23-year-old first baseman. Fuji's just not ready. Bring back Armendariz. We signed him last year to, in the Rule 5 and then turned around and traded him. Alcivar looks pretty good, but again, he's so far off that that's not really going to help us. Aragon was one of ours at one time. Cuellar, not really a center fielder. Ah, man, it's disappointing. It's always disappointing when you can't find somebody in the Rule 5 to at least take and flip. Danny Figueroa looks okay, but can't field at all. Esteban Gonzalez can't field. 37-year-old Reese Hoskins on there. Ibarra. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot here to get super, super excited about. I mean, maybe we take somebody up at the top there and try to flip them. Maybe we take that 17-year-old. Maybe there's a lot of value in that 17-year-old, and we can turn around and trade him. It's not my fault that Toronto left him exposed. Jonathan Tania. He looks okay. Again, he's so far off, though. I gotta move my chair around, and it's kind of squeaky. Sorry, guys. Yeah, a lot of similar players, but nobody that really goes, wow, this guy's super good. I was hoping maybe to get a good defensive center fielder. That it doesn't seem to exist. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Do Hyung Park. And then we're going to auto draft. And then I think we're going to take Nelson Rodriguez and try to flip the two of them. And we will call it a draft. All right, so let's see what we can get for those two players, because he's certainly not going to stay on our big league roster. Like, I mean, he's 17 years old. So we put him and where is he? Rodriguez. Let's look for a pitcher. Why can't we shop? Oh, do I literally have to go through today? What do you mean he was recently drafted? Who are the SSG Landers? Okay, they're in the KBO. Okay, so that's sort of I mean, this whole thing's a bug. Like, he shouldn't be available. I don't know why he's even... He absolutely should be tradable. I don't know. Maybe we just let him rot on our team for a year. Let's remove him. And let's see what we can get for Rodriguez. Because if we can't get anything for Rodriguez, I'll just let him go. It looks like all relievers. I'm not interested in that. Let's look at prospects. Let's look at all players and just prospects. Decent catcher. 23-year-old. I mean, that could work. Give us somebody to turn the reins over to once. Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, Signs played in the big leagues last year. He's not ready, but good ability, good arm. Yeah, we'll make that trade. I'm good with that. All right, so I am now going to do the simming ahead until opening day. Hopefully we'll be able to sign Alvarez. Hopefully we can get back in on that starting pitcher, and we'll see where we stand. So I'll talk to you guys in just a minute. Hey guys, welcome back. It is just before opening day. We are through spring training, and it was a busy couple of months. We made a couple of deals, signed a couple of players, and yeah, I think we made some pretty solid additions to the team as we approach the start of the regular season. And the big, the big deal you can see here, we have a new center fielder. I don't know that he's going to be a leadoff hitter, but we have a new center fielder as we pick up Benny Montgomery from the Colorado Rockies. You can see just an absolutely amazing defensive center fielder. Stole 45 bases a year ago, put up 7.5 WAR for the Colorado Rockies. His contract expires at the end of this season. He had look at those extra base hits, 65 and 6. That's 81 extra base hits a year ago. I don't know that he's going to hit anywhere near that good in Oakland, but if he can give us half that and give us 3.5 WAR, I will take it. Just an absolute monster in the outfield. Look at the zone rating and just unbelievable. But we did have to give to get, and we gave up Joey Estes. So Estes is out for another 8 weeks, which means he's going to miss. He won't be back until right around the beginning of June. His contract was up at the end of the year. His ratings had dropped a little bit. Joey Estes was an OG, guys. He was an OG. He was with us since the beginning, went 83 and 78 in 7 seasons with us. Had 3 really good years in a row. Actually, I mean, he was a 2 to, I mean, basically guaranteed you were going to get somewhere between 2 and 3.5, 4 out of him. So very consistent. But he was out for the first 8 weeks. So it gave us an opportunity to upgrade in center field. And then we, from there, backfilled with Alexander Vizcaino. Now, Vizcaino, we ended up signing to a 2-year contract. It's $13 million this year, and then a player option for $12 next year. My guess is that he opts out of that if he has a halfway decent season, and we will kind of be right back at it again next year, trying to find more pitching. But I think our pitching lines up pretty good. And then we also traded for Reese Rodabaugh, who was somebody I had looked at the very beginning of the postseason. We ended up trading a whole bunch of stuff and got Miami to send us Rodabaugh and retain 55%. So we sent Danny Diaz, so a 1-star or a half-star, 2-star, 21-year-old in high A ball. 3 average pitches. The only plus tool that he potentially has is his movement. Jose Anaya, who was probably the big piece here for Miami, just from a stats or from a ratings perspective. His movement is terrible, but 3 potentially good pitches. I don't suspect that changeup will ever develop. Good stamina, high work ethic, so he could turn into something. Victor Estrada, just a very good defensive outfielder, but a low work ethic, and he's 26 now. Dan Ziezen was somebody we picked up earlier in the offseason. So we turned around and flipped him to the Marlins. He's fragile. He's just a guy in the bullpen. And then Chaz McCormick, who we had in our minor leagues last season, hit pretty well in Vegas, but obviously wasn't part of the future. And we bring back Rodabaugh, who will serve at the back end of our bullpen. So those are the moves we made since we were here last. It was pretty busy. I think with Pirella, once he comes back, Pirella, Rodabaugh, Easterling, I think is a pretty solid back of the bullpen. Maybe not lights out, but pretty good. And we can always add to the bullpen down the road if we need to. So, yeah, I think, I do have to send players down, so let's do that now. Pitching rating. Nope, not pitching ratings. Yeah, pitching ratings. So we have 17 pitchers. We have to send 4 pitchers down to the minors. Frankel, I think, goes to the minors. Herndon Brown will go to the minors. He can't. David Grew. Okay, so we are at 15. We still got to send 2 more down. Kind of want to give Victor Romo a shot. I like the ground ball pitcher. Good movement. Neely's a starter. Garcia's a fan favorite. So and he looks extreme. I love the extreme ground ball guys. Herndon Brown is a lefty. Can we send low down? We can't. We picked him up in the offseason from the Dodgers. Do I really care if either of these guys are claimed? We have lefties. And we guess we can try to trade them. Who am I looking for? Isaiah Lowe. Yeah, nobody offers anything, so I have a feeling that if we DFA these guys, I think we'll be okay. Yeah, they are. Herndon Brown is the worst pitcher in my bullpen, so we will designate. And then we have to send 1 more down, and I don't know. Low with the 65 stuff. Fastball, curveball. He could be a starter if we needed him to be. But Montalvo has got the 60. Yeah, you see, I don't have a single fly ball pitcher on my roster, and that's the way I like it. Easterling, again, more of a spot starter, but has the good control. Was very good a year ago. Can we send him down? We can't. Yeah, all of our pitchers are like out of options here. So I think it's Isaiah Lowe. We'll just designate and see what happens. All right. So who is going to be our... Robles... Oof. I think that's our rotation. Middle relief, use more often. Rodaba's the closer. I don't need 3. Middle relief and specialist because we don't have any other lefties in the bullpen. Easterling was good. Montalvo, ground ball. He wasn't as good. Sandlin is a ground ball pitcher. I think I want to make him middle relief, use more often as well, and then make Montalvo the long reliever. We don't really need 3 long relievers, but I don't know that. Do we really need? It's because we only have 1 setup, man. It really should be closer, 2 setups, like 4 middle relief or 2 middle relief or 3 middle relief and 2 long relief. But I think we're good like this. Make Easterling. Oh, I don't know that I like Easterling as the setup man. I think it's Sandlin as the setup man. Make him middle relief. Have Sandlin and Rodaba and high leverage, and then we get. What's his name back in like 3 weeks? Perella? Yeah. So we got to send down 6 batters. So Emmanuel Signs is somebody we picked up in the offseason. We'll send him down. We'll send Newstrom down. Ryan Bell, we will send him down. We will send Chef Rance. Chef Ransky's... Wow, he crushes righties. Where are we at? We're at 28. So we still got to send 2 more people down. Rocha, I want to keep. Oh, we re-signed Chris Bryant, and I don't know that he's going to end up making the team. What does he do better than Origel right now? Really nothing? So it looks like it's Shafransky. And... we can DFA Bryant. Our fan interest right now is a 93. The moves we've made this offseason have kind of leapfrogged us here a little bit. But I think DFAing, or let's just try to trade him, I guess. Not that anyone's going to... We're only paying him like $1.2 million or something. So they want to send us Miles Jansen. Meh. I guess we just DFA. Yep. All right, so that puts us at 26. So let's set our lineups. Batting ratings. Clear lineups. All right, so Parker is our number 3, and Poisson is our number 4. Munoz will bat 5th. DH. Sarabia will bat 6th. Yeah, I think it's Montgomery in the leadoff spot. 50 eye, 40 avoid contact. He really needs to be... Yeah, I don't know that... he just had a crazy good year last year, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he was in Coors. So I don't know... Sarabia, 3. Yeah, we don't really have any crazy on base percentage guys. I mean, maybe we do something weird like going Francisco Alvarez, but I mean, he's going to strike out a bunch. Fuentes, Acuna, maybe? Is he going to hit enough to get on base as a leadoff man? I don't know that he is. Or do we? Let's just go Arias again. Let's just go Arias. I guess we can leave Montgomery in the 2-hole. So we need shortstop, second base, and catcher. So we'll go Alvarez in the 7. And then our 8-9 is our shortstop, second base, poo-poo platter of Acuna and Fuentes with Rocha backing them both up. Really, Rocha backing up everywhere on the middle infield. Yeah, Josu Rocha is our backup everywhere on the infield. I don't want to hear anything of it. And he is going to get some starts. Every 4th game, every 5th game, get a couple of starts on the infield. Yeah, I don't know that these guys are going to hit enough, but I mean, if they can each hit 240, 250, with the defense they're going to play, wow, Fuentes has dropped to 2 stars. That's not encouraging. Maybe he gets lapped by Rocha. Who knows? So Rocha still has room to grow here with the bat, and he's better defensively. So that may be the end result. So I think we're pretty solid 1 through 7. At least 3, 4, 5, 6 are pretty solid. Montgomery could hit or miss as a bat, but I mean, as a glove, he's elite. I mean, I would take literally any one of these seasons from him with the bat. Obviously, I'd prefer him to be above league average, but even if he comes in at an 80 OPS, if he puts up 4 wins because of his defense, I mean, can't really complain about that. Mabius isn't going to be happy that he is going to be relegated to backup this year. But we had an opportunity to pick up one of the best defensive catchers in the game. So I felt like that was a move we had to take. I am recording, yes. Let's go to lefties and let's paste that lineup. Any changes we want to make against lefties? I think Origel needs to get some time. Yeah, that's kind of the issue is that, I mean, he's okay. Like, he's a first baseman. His arm isn't good enough to play third. So he really can only play on the left side of the diamond. So I think maybe we do this. Let's give Origel every 3rd game at second base against lefties. He's going to back up at DH. He's going to back up at first. That should be enough, I guess. So let's get to opening day. And we will take a look at what OSA thinks of us and go from there. Oh, and I'm signing a bunch of minor league, veterans to minor league contracts to fill out my minor league system. So it looks like we signed most of the players, so we can do that. You can see we signed a whole bunch of veterans, which we may end up using as trade chips. Some of them ended up in Double-A. I don't know that any of these guys are going to be willing to take minor league assignments. I assume Brian won't. Pino, he is. Move him to Double-A. Do we want to make any other moves? Aldridge is probably a trade piece at some point. Raul Fernandez. He'll start in Double-A. Probably end up in Triple-A. Some good ratings out in the outfield. I mean, if we need some pitching depth, we signed Zach Gallen. I mean, we have some depth in the minors, which is nice. And again, we can use these guys as trade pieces if we want to. So, as Oakland, you take any chance or any opportunity you can, right, to try to make things better for your team. So. Oh, excuse me. Another yawn as the game starts to prep for the beginning of the season. All right, there we go. So let's take a look and see what information we have here. He thinks we should win it all. Wonderful. So we do not have a top 10 prospect. Where do we stand in terms of minor league systems? We're 16th. Corona, Maldonado, Pino, and LeBron. So 4 outfielders. So we got a glut. I mean, not that that's, I mean, I hesitate to call it a glut, but we've got 4 potentially good outfielders in the international complexes, along with Pino here. So, maybe we deal from a position of depth. Maybe we deal from a position of depth this year and try to move on from one of these many outfielders to try to add a young pitcher. Who knows? All right, so it is opening day, and we are taking on the rival Houston Astros, which Matt McLain, Andrew Vaughn, former Oakland A, Alberto Hernandez, who's just a monster, Jose Alfonso, they signed him from San Francisco, Joe Adell, 40 home runs a year ago, Betanti, the former Oakland Athletic, Jorge Ona, Malcolm Moore, and Everson Arteaga. Chase Mobley is okay. I mean, if he's their ace, they have some potential pitching issues, and he appears to be their ace. Gage Webster, the former Oakland Athletic, goes to Houston. So, yeah, that doesn't look like they have a great rotation. They got a ton of offense, but it doesn't look like they have a great rotation. So let's let the game play opening day and see what happens and call it an episode. So we will send Arias, Montgomery, Parker, Poisson at third. Munoz is the DH. Sarabia gets the start and right. Alvarez behind the plate, bat 7th. And then Acuna and Fuentes are the 8-9. Ryan Gleason gets the start again. He was 14-10 with a 3.64 ERA a year ago. 254 strikeouts for the now 30-year-old Gleason. For them, it's McLain, Vaughn, and Hernandez bats third. Alfonso, Adell, Betanti, Ona, Moore, Arteaga, and Chase Mobley, 10-2, I believe. Yep, with an ERA of an even 3. So we have the pitching advantage. They, I think, have the offensive advantage. So let's see how opening day goes for the A's here in Houston. Starts off with a strikeout. Montgomery is first at bat, lines out to left, and Parker flies out to right. So we go down 1-2-3 in the first. McLain grounds out to second, 1 away. Andrew Vaughn grounds out to third, 2 away. And Hernandez grounds back to the pitcher for an infield single. Alfonso strikes out, and that retires the side. Poisson, a deep fly ball to center. It's not going to have enough, though. 1 out. Munoz, that one may have enough. And it does. Jonathan Munoz with a home run to right center field, 422 feet. Sarabia, he hits a fly ball to right center field, but that's going to be caught. 2 away. And Alvarez pops up on the left side. Adell strikes out. Betanti, fly ball to left center. Catch is going to be made out there. I'm really hoping that our defense, it makes a big enough difference this year to sort of help the pitching staff, which is still a little underwhelming, I guess. I mean, we've got some talent out there, but I'm hoping the defense make that pitching staff look just that much better. So Arias strikes out again. Malcolm Moore strikes out. Arteaga, diving catch out in right field by Sarabia. And Matt McLain grounds out to short. So a 1-2-3 third. Montgomery strikes out. Parker with a fly ball to center. And Poisson strikes out. Andrew Vaughn leads off. The fly ball to right center. Catch is going to be made out there by Sarabia. Alberto Hernandez. I mean, keep him in the ballpark. That's all I'm concerned about. Just keep that guy in the ballpark. So 1-out double for him. Alfonso is going to foul out to first. And Joe Adell with a base hit to center. So it looks like they're going to tie it here. Yep. Tied at 1 in the 4th. Betanti strikes out. We still only have 1 hit, and it was from this guy right here. He strikes out. Sarabia strikes out. And Alvarez, 1 hit through 5 innings for us. And we're now, I think, losing. Is that a home run? Yep. That a home run as well? No, right at the wall. Oof. Ortega walks. McLean strikes out. Hernandez grounds out. Okay. They don't like him coming up with runners on base. We're losing for the first time now. It's 2-1. Did Acuna just tie it? Nope. Fly is out to the wall. Fuentes grounds out to short. And Arias looks like he's going to strike out for a 3rd time today. 0-2 to Alfonso is a ground ball down the... Really, we shift to the left. He hits a ground ball right down the right field line. Leadoff double for him. Adell strikes out. Go to the bullpen. Robles comes in for Gleason here in the bottom of the 6th and strikes out the 2 batters. So Gleason goes 5 1/3. 5 hits, 2 runs. That's fine. Montgomery strikes out. We still have just 1 hit in this ball game. Being 1 hit now through 7. Oh, no, 2 hit. No, that was an error. Okay, so they made an error. And then we get an infield hit. And Poisson has to come out of the game. So 2 on, 1 out. Munoz pops it up to short. That's 2 outs. And Sarabia strikes out to end the inning. So we get 2 runners on for the first time since this. Well, we get 2 runners on for the first time all game. Not able to score. We go to the bottom of the 7th. We still trail 2-1. Ortega grounds it to short. 2 away. And McLean grounds back to the pitcher. And it's an E1 or E3. E1. Okay. Andrew Vaughn. And are they going to score with? They are. So the error is costly. And that brings up Hernandez, and he gets a hit. So, yeah, the error has been costly here. As they're going to score another unearned run. And we are now down 4-1. I mean, 2 hit here on opening day by Houston. Not ideal. E9 by Houston, so at least we get a runner in scoring position. Can we do anything with it? Nope. Arias strikes out for the 4th time. Betanti against Robles again. There's a 6-3 putout. Easterling now to face Ona is a strikeout, and Malcolm Moore. So we need 3 runs in the 9th in order to come out of this with a tie or to push it to extras. I'd settle for a hit or 2, honestly. It doesn't look like we're going to get any of that. Catcher interference. Nope, we lose. And that is just a ugly, ugly, ugly opening day. We lose Poisson with an injury pending diagnosis on opening day. Arias goes 0 for 4, strikes out 4 times. Gleason wasn't bad, 2 runs and 5 1/3. Struck out 6, walked 2. Robles gave up 2 unearned runs. Mobley was really, really good for them. 8 strikeouts in 6 1/3 innings. And we lose on opening day. So that is going to do it for this episode, guys. When we come back, it will be May 1st. And hopefully we will have our winning ways, and we'll be able to take that into May, June, and July. And hopefully we can win something. We're getting there. I feel like, I've talked about I feel like we've turned the corner, and I really do feel like that. I mean, we've made the playoffs 4 straight seasons. We got 2 division titles, just nothing to show for it in the postseason. Hopefully this year is different. So, guys, I appreciate you watching. As always, I appreciate the support. I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye.